Hey there, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is a day I've been wanting to do for a long time. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to turn the camera over to my son, Nate, so I can do a little bit of narration. And here you go, Nate. Okay? Okay, you get to see my ugly face, too. But thanks, everybody, for watching. We're here tonight to talk about a tractor that most of you have never seen before. Time out for station identification. Guten Tag, mein deutsche Schlepperfreunde. Heute haben wir ein Video von meinem Schlüter 2000. Das ist sehr spät aber in Deutschland, aber vielen Dank. Und wir hoffen, dass es viel Spaß. Thank you. Back to where we were. As somebody who's been in the tractor business a long time and been able to buy and sell an awful lot of tractors, I've been a very fortunate man. I've got a great wife, great kids, and some great tractors. We all have a dream tractor on our list of what we wish we could buy. Of course, me having bought and sold a lot of stuff, unfortunately I set the bar kind of high. I always wanted a Minneapolis Moline UGLX, and I always wanted one of these. A few years ago I was fortunate enough to get a Minneapolis Moline bought. I had it for a while, and my real good buddy, a real stand-up guy, Anthony Rutledge in Connecticut, wanted to buy it, so I sold it to him, and it's got a wonderful home with him. And I really felt bad about selling. I missed it terrible. I thought, well, someday I've got to get a Schlüter 2000 TVL special. And I'll tell you about this tractor in a little bit. But I've wanted one for 30 years. I never thought I'd buy one. There were only 43 of these built. And I was very fortunate.
People watching.
I was very fortunate to have this one come up for sale. Long story behind it. But we were able to buy it about 2 months ago, and it arrived here 2 days ago. Now, why would Jim McFadden want a Schlüter tractor, which most of you have never heard about? Well, Schlüter was, along with Fendt, they were the Rolls-Royce of the German tractors. Fendt was primarily a transmission builder who bought all their engines. Schlüter was owned by a very well-to-do family who built the engines and bought the transmissions. They started in the business around 1900, built great big stationary engines, big hit-and-miss type diesels, as well as some engines for ships, big 4- and 6-cylinder, like 2,000 horsepower. After World War II, they got in the tractor business. And they started with small. I have a little 15 horsepower 1-cylinder one. I just went out and looked out back. It's in an Amish storage shed behind 4 others. I'm sorry I didn't get it out. So they were a pioneer starting in about the 60s, mid-60s, of front-wheel assist. When everybody else in Germany, even in the U.S., was building tractors that were 100 horsepower, they were building 150. This tractor was designed in the late 60s, 1968. It started out as 150 horsepower as the Super 1500. This is the Super 2000. They started the Super 2000 in the early 70s, and between like 1971 and 1981, they only built about 240 of 2 different series. The early series didn't have these windows in the cab. This one has the later cab, which we'll explain later. From 1981 to 1984, they came out with the Schlüter Super 2000 TVL Special. That's a big word. I didn't get all the spots off the other day either. This one has a little bit bigger bore. It's 200 horsepower. Still, I still have people thinking, what do you want that for? A lot of guys have never heard of that. Who wants one of that? Well, me, I have German heritage. My mother grew up in Germany. I went to school in Germany there as a kid. I speak reasonably good German. Both my sons spent a month there this summer working for a good friend, a German dealer. And I must take just a moment to thank my friend Peter for making a dream come true that I could buy this tractor. He didn't write the check, but he did help me buy it for sure. And we had it at his house. We took it for a ride at his house. And it took 27 days from when it left his house to when it got here. All the cards fell together very well so that we could get it all home in the way we wanted. But you're still saying, what's so special about this? Well, the Schlüter was very advanced for its time. This tractor was designed in 1970. This is one of the later ones that was built in 83. It's number 29 of 43. It has a 9.9-liter turbocharged diesel engine. 4-wheel drive, obviously, synchronized transmission. It has a couple of special features. The best one I'm going to tell you last. One of the good features is, if you want to work on this tractor, and we'll demonstrate this later, you can release this latch, and release the one on the other side, if I can figure out how. We haven't done it yet.
Pull out and turn?
Pull it out and turn?
Maybe.
I guess how that works?
Maybe.
No, Peter did it real easy. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we won't do the cab. But at any rate, if you have the tractor idling, this cab will tip right up at a 45 for service, and you can tip the hood up. This was also, I've read this in the European books a couple times. I can't say if it's for sure if it's true, but I believe this is the first tractor in the world ever to have the 20.8 42 tire. It's got 20.8 42s on the back, 18 430s on the front. But there's still people saying, so what? It's a big red tractor. Well, Andy and I
Are we actually going to show them what it is?
we are.
We are.
Take a look, folks. How many cylinders are in that engine? It ain't no V8, but it's not a 6-cylinder either. It's an 8-cylinder straight 8. The only tractor in the whole world ever to have a straight 8. And that's what intrigued me about it. In 1983, when I was in college, all right, long time ago, I saw one of these new back then, and I thought, my God, what a tractor. And I remember German farmers telling me, oh, you can't afford a Schlüter. They're too expensive. Well, fortunately, 40 years later, life has been good to us. And we had the opportunity to buy one. Unfortunately, we were able to buy one. And it's 9.9 liter, straight 8, straight in a row, with one hell of a big turbo. At idle, it sounds a little bit like a 2255 Oliver, like a 3208 V8, but not quite. It's got a sound of its own. And when you get it up to about 1,000 RPM, when you step on the pedal, it's just got a roar like nothing else I've ever seen. This particular tractor was in a collection for the last 25 years, so it has not done any farm work in 25 years. It's all original paint, all original tires. It has 4,000 hours. Show everybody this. That's about.
I'm going to show them, I think, the coolest part of the tractor.
Yep.
Everybody's seen a straight 6 Bosch, inline pump, but a straight 8.
Yeah.
That one I thought was the coolest thing to me.
And the size of the intercooler. It's like the intercooler is like 5 feet long. This thing still has all the original decals on everywhere it should. Right there, they even put the 1.8 bar. That's the pressure on the front tires. Pressure on the rear tires would be on there. The original chock is with it. The original toolbox is nice. This has a full air system for air brake trailers behind it. It's got the air dryer and everything. When you step on the brakes, there's a gauge on the dash, shows the actuation pressure on your brakes. If you come on around here, the fenders are nice, original of course. Has the typical high European drawbar, but it does have a space for a regular one. It's only been here 3 days. We'll put one of them in it just to make it look cool. This 3-point with the lift assist cylinders was rated to lift over 6 tons. On these tractors, they would run a 6-bottom, fully mounted, rollover plow. Hold over here a second, the engine was built by Schlüter. The frame, the cab was all built by Schlüter. The transmission is ZF, and the front end is ZF. They were also way ahead of their time with a fuel tank down here. The only other company who did this in the USA that far back was Allis-Chalmers in about 1973 when they come out with the 7030s. John Deere International, shoot, you're 15 years behind. If you would give me the phone, I'm going to run up into the cab. I'm going to show everybody the cab. Here's the cab, folks. As we climb up into the cab, look at this. No rust, all original. It has a real 1980s look in it. If you look at the dash, that looks pretty darn 80s right there. We got fuel gauge, temperature, oil pressure. There's your air gauge. And if you step on it with it running, it'll go right up. The cab is about perfect inside. This is hanging down a tiny bit, but that's it. No air. They didn't put air on stuff back then. But the back window opens, and these windows are cool. They've got these nice little latches. Just such craftsmanship is amazing. With the original decals and everything. It's got a great buddy seat, a big one right there for 2 little kids or your girlfriend or big mama or whatever you want. You look down here to the control quadrant. That's metal, not plastic, metal. And as I get out of the cab, we'll get back in and start it up in a little bit and show you it running too, so you can hear the sound and feel the whole thing. Can you tell I'm enthusiastic about this? I love this tractor. Look at this cab. Talk about different. Oop. The doors slide forward and back. They have these fancy latches. And look, whoever had it put the oil change intervals on the door. If I get back out of here, okay, see these doors just slide shut. And there they are. I haven't even taken the shipping labels off yet. The original roof is actually fiberglass, and thank God there's not a crack in it. Between the two of you, could you get that hood back down for me? But it's a really cool cab with styling. The first version of this thing, they had the back end of the cab at a higher angle. And then they come out with a tip cab, which had an additional front window. Yeah, you got to watch it catches just a little bit. Up, okay? As I go back around here, also any German tractor would have full lighting. Flashers, signal lights, all that kind of thing. I believe it has 540 and 1,000 too. Yeah, there's a shifter up inside. It says 540 and 1,000. And you can see the cab tips here. It even says here, Hochkipperkabine, Sofortsicherungseindecken. That means when you put it up, you lock the cab up. And this is very important. Achtung, Kraftheber absenken vor Kippen der Kabine. That means put the 3-point down, because I think you'd hit the back window otherwise. Was very, I went to the Canandaigua show this week, and I didn't have the desire to go to the flea market. Not only wanted I shot the wad and spent all the money, but I don't want anything. I'm very, very fortunate to buy this tractor, and a lot of you will get an opportunity to buy a bunch out of my collection later this year when we have our November sale. But I'm a very lucky man. I've been able to fulfill a lifelong dream of buying the one tractor I always thought I never could buy. There's nothing pales by comparison as far as I'm concerned. But now I'm going to start it up so y'all can hear the sound of it. I probably should lift the hood up, but we're not going to. I'll fire it up. Nate's going to get right close to the engine so you can hear it too. And it doesn't just start, it springs to life. That's 1,500 RPM right there. 2,000 RPM. We'll get in the buddy seat here and we're gonna go for a ride. Nate's gonna get in the buddy seat and give you all here, right here when you get
The view of the operator station.
Yep. Get this in high. Not the easiest shifting tractor. There we go. Parking brakes off. You ready? It says it's not off. Now it's off. Oh, there we go.
You can hear the brakes release.
Put the air brake on when you do that. Isn't that cool? See that? When you step on the pedals, right there. Ready? It also has, similar to a Fendt, a fluid coupling like a torque converter, so if you step on it, it won't go full speed until you give it a little gas. A little bumpy back there?
Hell yeah.
We're going to turn around and come up the hill in full power. And it's big. It weighs about 18,000 pounds. I equate it to being the size of a John Deere 4850. Okay, you ready? There we go, 1,500 RPM. Sound like no other. We took this up a mountain on a road for about a 10-mile ride when we were in Germany, followed by another little Fendt we had. And then we took it for another ride up the road, so we've driven it in Germany, we've driven it here, and it's already a part of the family. So I'm going to take the camera back. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed my tractor. Obviously I'm kind of proud of it, but again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.